world-class grandmaster in his own right. I remember in the 90s he was right up there. Now represents Canada, and he makes the ceremonial first move. Prague leaves it on the board. Doesn't take that move back. Interesting. I think Barev was a d4 player, if I remember correctly. In the meantime, top right, Tanya, FIDE meditating, a site we're becoming used to, but all the other games have kicked off now.
Prague just leaves the d-pawn on the board, just a little shadoop there by him, and an immediate response by Hikaru. We're still not sure if it's d4, but we will get an update. That's what it looks like from our site right now. All the games underway. I don't know if Adidas has made his move. I think he finally does. And you know what? I think, David, in that one, it's a b3. It's still far to say, but 4 big games and opening moves. Out of the rest, are you expecting some big surprises early on in this round?
I definitely am. Again, the candidates, this tends to be a feast of opening ideas, novelties galore. You see these kind of big opening battles early on where the players show off their preparation, their home cooking. But in recent rounds, I have noticed a slight trend towards quieter lines. You mentioned Faruja playing b3 on move 2 a couple of rounds ago against Jan Nepomniachtchi, and doing so again against Abasov today. Really interesting, just taking kind of sting out of the early phase of the game, just trying to get a position and play, as they say. And we've seen also some quieter anti-both.
Seems a little bit fishy what Black is doing, but the reality is Fabi's going to need a win. He's desperate to get to +2 because, like I said, I think +3 wins this tournament. +4 for sure, dominates, no tie, no nothing. +3, maximum, the worst that'll happen is a tiebreak if you get to +3. So I think here it's looking dubious for my boy Fabi, but anything could happen.
On the bright side for Fabi, he is quite significantly up on the clock, and he does have the bishop pair if things ever open up. I'm inclined to agree with you, Maurice. I think he's really trying to provoke Gukesh, if anything. He's trying to get an imbalanced position, maybe hope it gets a bit more random later on. But that has backfired for Fabi in the past. I'm just curious what comes next for White. It looks like you've maximized, you've kind of got the minority attack going, you've pushed pawns on the queen side, you've got kind of weak squares you can jump into, but not to capitalize on this potential advantage. What are we expecting to happen over the next few moves?
Maurice, you pointed out. Sorry, go on, Maurice.
This is how he got. He bought a house with the minority attack. Was what Yasser said. He won these kind of minority attacks so often that at some point he could do it in his sleep. And so we're expecting B5 to happen at some point. He started with the move A5, which is definitely interesting. Not sure if 100% necessary, but White's going to keep probing. The better question is, what is Black going to do? What are Black's next 3 or 4 moves that make us feel like he's going to have some counterplay? Because that king side looks a little bit airy. You play g4 too quickly, that could shut down anything on that side. Although I do see knight h4 would be met by a potential bishop f6, but the knight f5, I'm not liking that at all. I'm not really sure how Fabi engineers the attack on that side.
decision, but those pawns, they have come to haunt him, taking away any winning chances in this queen pawn endgame.
That's right, White had to win too many weaknesses. He temporarily won a pawn, but Fabiano has enough counterplay now. As you say, Tanya, there's going to be checks galore. Check on e1 or check on e3 next move. The White king will not be able to shield itself from that barrage of checks. It will be a repetition and a draw, I think, almost guaranteed now. Gukesh, yeah, he traded off the bishops, the rooks. I think he had to make this really safe decision because of the clock situation, and he will most likely still be up there in the joint lead. It takes pawn or c6, White to pawn up, but Fabiano can force it right here and right now. Check on e1 would end the game with a draw. Fabi just checking the last few options. There we go. Called it, Tanya. We're going to get our second result of the day any moment.
It's gonna happen now, and we see Fabi does repeat. There's nothing better for black to do as well in this position. The king falls back, a yo-yo between the queen and the king. This one will end peacefully. So for Gukesh, I think it's a good result as well as for Fabi, and we see it's happening right now. Handshakes coming up as the players make their third repetition. Fabi there calling for the arbiter. They look at each other, it's handshakes. Gukesh most probably will keep the lead if Yan ends in a draw. Meanwhile for Fabi, he also stays in striking distance. David, I don't think either of them have any reasons to be displeased with the result, the outcome of this game.
That's right, ultimately a fair result. We were talking about these small little details, the nuances, but ultimately it was tough. Gukesh looked like he had an advantage, but Fabiano was so solid, the position was so blocked, and Fabiano defended extremely well. He found a forcing sequence, Gukesh was forced to trade off pieces, and the peace treaty, the handshake, yeah, I think mixed blessings. Of course they both wanted to win, especially as they close in on the last few rounds, but they're still in it. They have drawn against another rival for top spot.